Hey guys, it's Clay, CPAPmyway, CPAPmyway.com. Today I am here to discuss the AirTouch F30i from ResMed. As you can see, it's available in two different setups here. We've got the comfort version and the clear version. I'm going to go over the mask, what makes the mask itself different, as well as what makes the comfort different from the clear version. And then we'll go over all of the sizing of the frame and of the cushions. We'll demo it, so I'll wear the mask. I'll let you hear how it runs. We'll put it on the AirSense 10 over here. That way you can get an idea of what it might sound like in your own home. Then after we do that, I'm going to go over my pros and cons of this particular mask. There are quite a few in each, to be honest with you, pro and con. And then I'm going to go over with you a little hack is how you can try the AirTouch F30i a little cheaper than buying this entire mask. So stay tuned to the end for that. As always, if you enjoy the information here, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and comment with any questions, especially if you've got any use case. Like if you've used this mask and you've got some experience, we would really love to hear from you on that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so to start with, let's go over the distinction. We've got the AirTouch F30i Clear, the AirTouch F30i Comfort. The Comfort is actually a fabric wrapped frame. That's the difference there, right? So you'll notice that this one isn't just the standard silicone. In fact, there really isn't any standard silicone touching your face at all in the Comfort version. They also offer the clear version, right? So this is just the silicone. It's going to be a little tackier against your face, but there's going to be less bulk, right? Obviously, as you wrap the frame with the fabric, you're going to get a little bit more width to the frame, so you may feel a little bit more on the side of your face. So some people have like the clear version versus the comfort, but if you're looking to get away from silicone altogether, you're probably going to lean towards the comfort. Both of the frames in this video here are standard frames, but they are also available in small and large. And while we're looking at that, you will want to notice that it is a magnetic headgear, right? So if you've got an implant or any of the things that you're supposed to stay away from magnets, they do offer the non-magnetic version here as well. So just a quick little, you can get this on our website. It's got the clip-ins right there instead of the magnets. So the frames will work just fine. I mean, the cushions will work just fine on the non-magnetic frame, but it's the same non-magnetic frame as the X30i and the standard F30i. So you do have that option available if you want to try this cushion. You can do it with a non-magnetic frame. All right, as far as cushion size, on this particular model here, we've got a medium. And from what I've seen from the customers we put it out on so far, medium seems to be the most likely by far for most. But on the bottom of the cushion, you'll see the size there. It's available in small, wide, as well as large. And we have a very handy sizing gauge on the website. So if you scroll to, I think, more information or something down at the bottom there on the listing, you'll be able to print out that sizing gauge. That way you can put it up against your own nose and figure out what might be the best size for you. It doesn't come as a fit pack, so you will have to select the size when you're ordering the mask. In speaking about the difference between the comfort and the clear, there is a bit of a distinction I want to bring up before the pros and cons, and that's that the silicone is much easier to clean than the fabric. You're probably going to end up replacing this more often. While it is more comfortable, it's going to absorb some sweat and oils from your face, obviously. And it's not like you can just throw this thing in a dishwasher or in the washer machine. You've got to wipe it maybe with a mask wipe or something like that to try to get anything off of there. It is much easier to clean the silicone version of this frame. And while we're talking about the frame, it's important to point out that with the comfort frame or the clear frame, you can use the X30i or the F30i cushions as well. So vice versa, if you've got the X30i, you could try out the AirTouch F30i comfort cushions on that frame as well. So you do have some flexibility when you're going with one of these masks and trying different models. And the last thing I want to point out in reference to this particular mask, if you're using this on a ResMed, you're going to want to set that to full face setting when you're switching the mask setting in your machine. All right, so let's take a deeper dive real quick on the actual cushion. I'm going to take it off the clear frame here. To take the cushion loose, you may have seen me there. It literally just snaps out. both sides, right? Snaps back in the exact same way. So it does come on and off really, really easily. But I want to point out some things about this cushion in detail here. Number one, you can see where the fabric starts and the silicone stops and vice versa there. So what's touching your face is just the fabric. So if you're a person that's had real serious skin irritation from silicone, and we have quite a few people like that, this fabric has really remedied a lot of their issues because there is no silicone touching the face anymore. I will point out, just like I did with the frame, that the fabric is going to absorb some moisture. It's going to need to be cleaned probably a little more often than the silicone, and we recommend the mask wipes, right? Because you can do a real quick clean on them daily, and that'll keep them lasting a little bit longer. Because once it starts to collect funk and anything on your mouth and nose, it's going to get funky, especially it being a fabric that absorbs moisture a little bit. You're going to want to take good care of it, and it probably isn't going to last quite as long as the silicone, just because, again, it's fabric, and maybe before it even wears out, it might get a little grody. So just keep that in mind when you're trying this out. As I said, it's available in medium, small, wide, so that's small/wide, and large. And the sizing gauge on our website will help you size up which one would be best for you. Most people, as I said earlier, have been a medium, and so it may be a good place to start. The other thing I want to point out is the exhalation port on here, right? You can see it's one of those foam ones, right? You can actually push it out of the cushion. So that's kind of a nifty little feature as far as cleaning the cushion goes. And I don't know that ResMed really recommends this, but if I were cleaning this, I would clean the cushion without this little exhalation disc in there because there's no real way to dry that out thoroughly. And in my opinion, stagnant water is bad water, and if you get moisture in there and it doesn't dry out thoroughly, there's a good chance something is going to grow inside this little exhalation port. Right now, I don't know why, but ResMed's not selling these separately. So to get a new one of these, you have to buy an entire cushion. So keep that in mind. My opinion is probably want to take this out when you're washing it. Although, to be honest, you exhaling through this, it's probably going to get a little funky too. So I think purely just for this sake, this little piece here alone, it's going to be a good idea to stick with the suggested frequency of swapping it out. They do recommend once a month. You might get away with a couple of months on it, to be honest. But that if you see if that gets discolored at all, toss this thing away for sure. Because while it's extremely quiet and very good for exhalation draft, anytime you've got little foam pieces like that where you're exhaling into, you're probably going to have the chance of moisture and things collecting in there. So if you ever see some discoloration in there, it's nice that it's clear. You definitely want to toss this thing and get a whole new cushion. The term for this cushion is Adaptoseal technology. They always come up with some nice little trademark. But it has a very similar fit to the F30i, right? The main distinction being that it is a fabric lined mask. You notice it still has the little bridge there. Some people like that, some people don't. And it fits under the nose, over the mouth. So just like that, okay, obviously with the headgear all on, and it takes away from any of the interaction with the bridge of the nose, which a lot of people like because it really does affect people when you get those spots on your nose from the pressure of the mask. All right, so let's put this thing back together and then we'll demo it. I'm going to show you the comfort version of the mask because I think that's probably the most relevant to what a lot of people are going to be interested in. All right, putting it back together is simple. You got your little magnet goes towards the bottom of the cushion, so you slip that in and just snap it into place. You'll hear it click. Same thing on the other side, and it is back together and ready for use. All right, so let's try this one on with the comfort version frame. It fits just like the other minimal contacts like this. So over the nose, I said over the nose, under the nose, over the mouth, and then bring your magnets around and strap them right in. Click right into place. If you're using the non-magnetic headgear, you'll just snap those into place. But I think for 95% of people, you're going to be using the magnets, which are really, really useful. Okay, shift the frame back. And to tighten it up against your nose, remember you're going to pull back on the frame here and then tighten this strap. So as I want it to tighten up against my nose, the frame has to shift back. This part here has to shift back on the head. and then you tighten these straps up just a little bit to hold it in place, okay? Okay. And remember our tube connection is up top. So we're going to put that on. It does have the real nice little swivel release elbow here. So if you're getting up to use the restroom in the middle of the night, that's the same as the F30i. It's really nice. So put it in, just like that. Fire this up. So we're running at a 10. No draft at all. No exhalation draft at all. You could either go face down. Exhalation goes to the top. So as you can hear there, it is extremely quiet. So to talk a little bit more about what I'm sure I'm muffled through the mask there, it's got the quick release elbow, which on this particular style is nice. That's on the F30i and N30i models, all of them. And it has the exhalation ports built into the top so that if you occlude these by going face down in the pillow, you're still going to flush CO2 through the top, which is good. Gives you a lot of versatility, especially for those that are like to bury your face in the pillow. And this one sealed great on me. This is the medium. Like I said, I'm kind of a medium on all masks. I'm kind of that middle of the road type person, but it fit me really well. There was no leaks. It was super, super quiet. And I think I showed you there, hopefully, that it was running at a 10. So that's kind of a moderate setting for an average demonstration for most people. And so you will notice when I was wearing it, not only was it quiet, but they rated it like 20 decibels. But that the frame really wasn't too bulky on me. You get the clear view, right? You can wear glasses, and you're not having any silicone touch the face at all. So as you saw on my face, it's only the fabric cushion and the fabric frame that actually touches my skin at all. So again, it does have the clear version, but that's very similar to the F30i that already is out there. All right, now, so let's sum this thing up with my pros and cons of this particular mask setting. They are two different masks technically. So you've got the AirTouch F30i Comfort. Remember, that's the fabric frame, and the AirTouch F30i Clear. That's the silicone frame. Both of them have the fabric cushions underneath. And so with that being said, the first big pro I would have is that it's versatile, right? So if you already have the X30i or the F30i, which are other ResMed masks, you can try the cushion. Additionally, if you like the cushion on your F30i or X30i, but you're like, man, I don't know, it might feel kind of nice not having silicone rub against my face or pull my hair out on the top. This comfort, right? Comfort, I have to remember all these terms. Comfort frame will fit the X30i and the F30i cushion. So if you like your F30i cushion, you like the way that silicone feels, or you like the nasal pillow portions of the X30i, you could try out the actual frame here without having to try the cushion. So they're available in separate parts. It makes it really versatile, and I like that. We've had to do a lot of workarounds for people that really didn't like the silicone touching their face or head, and this really solves those problems for sure. So that's a big pro. Obviously, another one is that you're going to get the clear, open line of sight, and you've got the top of the head tube connection, so it gives you a lot of side-to-side movement, and it also gives you the ability to watch TV, wear glasses, read a book before bed. So that's an obvious one that also goes along with quite a few other masks as well. The other thing that you'll definitely want to consider is that this is a fabric, right? So it's not the same as the AirTouch F20 and N20 in that those were foam. So this is a fabric. I think the fabric in our history of working with these masks now, especially since we've had the AirTouch N30i quite a while, is the fabric lasts a lot longer than those foam masks do, right? The foam's really comfortable, but they don't last long, right? This fabric actually does a pretty good job of not only sealing. I was surprised at how well it sealed, but it lasts a little bit longer than the foam version for sure. Right alongside with that, the fact that it's not silicone. I got to point this out, and I know this is probably not the right word to use, but everybody calls it that farting noise, where the silicone kind of rattles against your cheek as you're having a leak. That's something that completely goes away with this fabric version in our history of working with it. If you get a leak, there can be a leak, but it's a much quieter leak. And so that's something to point out. I know that's kind of like a weird thing to point out, but it's something that we have collected from users so far. And the last thing I want to point out, because we did go over in detail that exhalation port that's on the front, it is super, super, super quiet. They did a really good job of making that very quiet with absolutely no draft. I mean, I was at a setting of 10. I couldn't feel anything like right up against the mask. There was absolutely no draft at all. So if you're one of those people that has a sensitive bed partner that doesn't like that draft as you turn next to them, I can confess from time to time with some masks, my wife has gotten me with the exhalation ports. This one, no exhalation draft at all. So they've done a really, really good job with that. All right, so to some of the downsides. Number one, it does have magnets. They do resolve that again with the non-magnetic frame. So if you have a pacemaker or any of the other things that are on the list that you need to avoid magnets, I would recommend getting the non-magnetic frame to try this out. That does limit you. I don't think they have a non-magnetic comfort frame yet, but it probably will come with time. As soon as they do, obviously we'll have it on the website. We just don't have it there right now. The other thing I pointed out as earlier in the video is a bit of a con is that you're going to replace this more often if you're going with the comfort version or just the cushion in general. It's not going to last as long as silicone. Silicone is very easy to clean. It's very durable. It lasts a really, really long time. We frequently get people in here that have been using the same mask for a year, you know. That's probably not going to be the case with this particular mask because it's going to absorb moisture. It's going to wear, you know, it's stitched. It's stitched really, really well, but eventually some things are going to come loose on it. And obviously we haven't had this happen, but you'll notice that there's a joint between the silicone and the fabric there. And, you know, with time, things like that wear out. I think that, quite frankly, if you're trying to avoid silicone because of the issues of silicone, that is going to outweigh the replacement frequency. Good sleep is worth just about whatever you could pay for it. So that is something to point out, though. You're probably going to have a little bit more investment. You're going to have to swap it out more often for sure. The other thing I'll point out is we ran this thing into 10. It fit really, really well on me. I have tested this out on quite a few people. We've had some issues with guys with beards. I'm terrible at growing a beard, so couldn't really test it on myself, but my buddies that have a thicker beard had a little trouble sealing with this. I'm not really sure why. Could just have been them. We only tried it on a couple. And then at higher pressures, it didn't seal as well. I'm speaking of the actual comfy, soft fabric cushion here. It really getting up to that 13, 14, 15 centimeters, it really is tough to seal without silicone. Silicone is really tacky, and you can kind of crank it down a little bit if you really need to get that seal done. It's not the same with fabric. I was surprised how well it sealed, but you know, you're going to lose some seal over silicone for sure. The other thing I pointed out, I do want to point it out in the cons here as well. That little thing is not replaceable. I don't know why ResMed doesn't make that exhalation port replaceable because it comes in and out really, really easily. But because it's not replaceable, I feel like it's going to cause you to replace the actual cushion itself more often because that thing's probably going to get funky just as faster than the fabric here. So, and the last thing I want to point out, just as some feedback from customers, the comfort version with the fabric is a little bulkier than the silicone version. So people have reported to us that extra width, you know, dimension to the frame is just a little too much on the face. So that's why they have the clear version available. But you should keep that in mind if you're really already struggling with, you know, one of these over-the-head masks, just is too much on your face. Probably adding that extra layer of fabric is not going to make that any better. So keep that in mind. But that's what I got for you. We're going to do some demo videos. Caitlin's got a demo video coming out with this. She's going to give you her feedback on it. I know you ladies out there like to hear from the ladies. So I've tagged Caitlin in. She's going to try this thing out, and she's got it at the house now. So we'll get her feedback and see what she thinks. I've got a buddy who's got, I told you, he's got the beard. I'm going to let you hear his feedback as well. because he struggled with it a little bit. So I feel like that's probably something you should know about, and you get an idea of maybe whether or not that might work for you. Additionally, we're going to have all sorts of quick fitting videos and everything else. So stay tuned. Subscribe if you want more information like this. Hit us with a thumbs up if you liked the content today. And for sure, comment below if you have any experience at all with this mask. Thanks for watching.